Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to the 58th annual convention of the Islamic Society of North America. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Muslim gathering every year. It has been so for decades. Uh, and I'm delighted to speak to you all again. And I'm especially honored to be speaking on this panel for IMRC, Indian Muslim Relief and Charities, which does such phenomenal work in India, essentially helping Indian Muslims with their development agenda, with their education, and also dealing with tragedies, natural as well as man made. My briefing is going to have three parts. A quick assessment of the community's challenges, the Indian Muslim community's challenges. I believe it is a highly vulnerable community at the moment. It is at the risk of losing a lot of its political and economic rights in India. And then I will also quickly summarize for you what the community is doing to combat it. That is, what are Indian Muslims themselves doing to address the challenges that they face. And the third part of my presentation will be about what we, Americans, American Muslims of Indian origin, can do for Indian Muslims. The Indian, uh, the American Muslim community, mashallah, is an extremely generous and engaged and compassionate community, and we have uh, fought for many causes everywhere, both at home and abroad. And I also hope that they will pay equal attention to the challenges that Indian Muslims are facing. They are not in such dire straits as Uyghur Muslims in China or the Palestinians in Gaza. However, the condition is fast approaching that critical benchmark. The three challenges that Indian Muslims are facing today, I mean, they are facing many, many challenges, but I have put them in three boxes, are economic challenges, security related challenges, and political challenges. The political challenges essentially are a direct consequence of the Hinduization of Indian culture and politics. With the rise of Hindutva movement and the rise of the Bharatiya Janata Party and its electoral power in India, Indian Muslims face a political environment in which their identity is being erased, their heritage is being wiped out, cities with Muslim sounding names are losing their names. Muslims are essentially being marginalized and pushed to the side as India marches forward, both economically and in international prestige. So, the political challenge for Muslims essentially is to combat their diminishing political position. The number of Muslim members of parliaments are on the decline. The number of Muslims in important positions are declining. So essentially, the political challenge entails combating the Islamophobia that is being generated with the rise of Hindu nationalism and also trying to retain some kind of political power so that Muslim issues can be addressed in parliaments and assemblies all across India. So that is the one of the major challenges that Indian Muslims face. The second is the economic challenge. It is quite apparent that there are structural discriminatory practices in India which undermine Muslims' economic status. So this was first highlighted and acknowledged by the Sachar Commission report nearly 15 years ago. And since then, it has become common knowledge that Indian Muslims are, economically speaking, the most backward, underdeveloped community in India. It is not so in every part of the country. So if you are from Hyderabad, or if you are from some richer communities in Mumbai or Kerala or even Chennai, then you might find this assertion very difficult. But prominently in the Hindi belt and other parts, even in West Bengal, Indian Muslims are economically far, far behind. And one of the startling findings of all the studies of Indian Muslims' economic situation is that Indian Muslims now are probably even behind the Dalit community, which for centuries was deemed untouchable and marginalized by the Hindu majority, the upper caste Hindus essentially. There are other dimensions to the economic challenges that Muslims are facing now, which is that because there is discrimination culturally and politically against Muslims, it has become difficult for people with Muslim sounding names to rent places, to buy houses, to start businesses, to get loans. Yeah, I mean, the situation is so dire that people with Muslim sounding names are not even able to, to become vendors selling vegetables and fruits in neighborhoods where Hindus are predominant. So, so the economic challenges are manifold. It is low incomes, lower educational levels, lower opportunities, lesser capacity to access opportunities that exist. For example, the government has allocated crores of rupees for the upliftment of minorities, but the underdevelopment of the community is such an extent that they are not even able to access the benefits that are available to them. Some programs that were initiated after the Sachar Commission report are not fully subscribed by Indian Muslims. That is quite tragic. The third challenge that Indian Muslims face is basically violence, physical security. There have been a tremendous spike in random violence against Muslims. Muslims are accused of either eating beef or trafficking in beef or selling beef or buying beef. And so there are mobs out there, vigilante, Hindu vigilante mobs, which are lynching people, beating people on the streets in front of police, sometimes with the help of the police. The government, especially in those states where the Bharatiya Janata Party is in power, often the politicians encourage and celebrate these people who perpetrate violence against Muslims and other religious minorities, but also the police is reluctant to act against them. So this is a significant challenge that people are actually beginning to feel unsafe and insecure when they're out of their homes. And then there is this occasional riot, which means that they're not safe in their homes too. So these are the three challenges that Indian Muslims continue to face. And since 2019, these challenges are on steroids. They have been magnified significantly. What Indian Muslims are really doing are that they have many strategies. I have again summarized them in three boxes. Those who are poor and insecure and extremely vulnerable in the sense that they are part of the informal sector. They don't have job security. They didn't even have education to aspire for good jobs. They are assimilating into this Hindu Rashtra, which is they are changing their names. They're taking Hindu sounding names. They're dressing as if to look like Hindus and hoping that this external transformation of their appearance may help them earn a living, a daily wage, or become a vendor. This is very sad. It is sad that people are afraid to be who they are. So this is one approach. Then there are those obviously who are resisting it. So we saw this after the passage of the Citizenship Amendment Act that there are Muslims out there who, in partnership with their non-Muslim partners and sympathizers and supporters, have gone on a protesting nationwide. The Shanbagh protest led by women, older women, was so inspirational for everybody, not just in India but worldwide, that Indian Muslims are resisting this oppressive state. So the second approach seems to be to resist. And the resist, I'm happy to say that Indian Muslims have not resorted to violence or terrorism or armed violence, but they are protesting. And in the protest, obviously, there is violence against them by police, and sometimes even Hindu mobs attack them when they are protesting. So the second approach seems to be to resist. The third approach that Indian Muslims have adopted is what I call a smart politics. So this is essentially an electoral strategy where Indian Muslims are aligning with secular forces, with Hindu secular parties, with Hindu intellectuals, with the media, and also parties which are left of center, essentially to defeat the Bharatiya Janata Party at the polls. And the assumption is that if Bharatiya Janata Party is out of power, then the situation would improve. And you can see that in some parts of the country, like in Telangana, in Kerala, in West Bengal, and to some extent in Tamil Nadu, this kind of smart politics has kept BJP out of power. and has prevented them from expanding their reach all over the country. While it appears that the smart politics could work, I want to remind the viewers that the Bharatiya Janata Party and Hindu nationalism and Hindutva forces were just as powerful when Bharatiya Janata Party was not in power. This desire for Hindu revivalism, defined as something which is excluding Islam and Muslims. So, thinking of India as pristine without Muslims who are deemed as foreigners, this sentiment essentially has taken root in a vast number of the Indian population, especially in the middle class and above. And just defeating the Bharatiya Janata Party at the polls is not going to be successful. So, what can American Muslims, especially American Muslims of Indian origin, do to face and help Indian Muslims face the challenges that they are confronting? Uh, I think first we should recognize that these smart electoral politics are not enough. We need to go beyond that. And that is where I think American Muslims can play a significant role. I believe that the Indian Muslim community should adopt strategies which lead to community empowerment, community engagement, and community excellence. And that's where Muslims of Indian origin can support both intellectually, financially, and through activism the Indian Muslim community. By community empowerment, I essentially mean investments in two kinds of areas, education and entrepreneurship, because of the barriers that are now being erected in the government sector and the private sector, the organized private sector for Indian Muslims, in spite of education and in spite of qualifications to get jobs. I think it would be very smart for the community to start encouraging to people to become entrepreneurs, to start their own businesses, even export whatever talent they have. And that is where the American Muslim community can be helpful in helping the Indian Muslim community to invest in educational projects, to elevate the capacity of the community, and also to ensure that there are more venture capital available, for example, for Indian businesses who want to start Indian businesses. And so encourage both education and entrepreneurship. And I think that will be community empowerment. One other aspect of community empowerment that I think we should do is to help build institutions of civil societies, organizations which are fighting for civil rights, organizations which are fighting against discrimination, organizations which are fighting for women's empowerment, for the uneducated, for children. All of these organizations can be supported from the United States, and these will not be deemed as threatening to the national security of India. It is essentially empowering the Indian society. So I think community empowerment should be one of our goals, and this is where IMRC really comes in. And if you want to initiate projects through IMRC, you can have dedicated projects which are specific, education related, civil society related, and you can raise funds for them, and you can also send funds to IMRC. The second project or second strategy that we can support is community engagement. American Muslims have a lot of experience now with interfaith dialogue and working with different communities. On some projects, we work with conservatives. On some projects, we work with liberals. We work with progressives. The progressive movement in this country is now full of Indian Muslims. Bernie Sanders campaign, you saw how many American Muslims participated in it. So we have now a lot of know-how on community engagement, both in the interfaith as well as in civil rights and political arenas. So I think this knowledge, this technology of community engagement, we need to transfer that to Indian Muslims. We should be able to help run projects and help fund proposals from Indian Muslims which are oriented towards community engagement. And finally, community excellence. Uh, I'm a big advocate of ihsan. I've written a book about ihsan. To me, ihsan is excellence, doing beautiful things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ahsanu inna Allah yuhibbul muhsinin. Do excellent things, do beautiful things. God loves those who do beautiful things. And so I recommend that it is important for Indian Muslims not only just to try to catch up with other communities when it comes to education, entrepreneurship, etc., but actually to try to excel and outperform and make meritocracy an important element of the Indian Muslim communities. Minorities do very well in democracies when they outperform other communities, especially larger communities. And that is an attitude that we need to help inculcate in the Indian Muslims. This approach, which is fatalistic, which essentially may help people become satisfied with whatever condition they live in, but we need to be able to motivate them to aspire for greatness, aspire for excellence, aspire to transcend their economic, their political, their social, their educational, and strive to become the best versions of themselves. And I think that is one place where American Muslims can play the role as role models for the broader Indian Muslim community, encourage and support them in pursuit of community excellence. So the three strategies and three projects that we could support is community empowerment, community engagement, and community excellence. And I think I'm going to be running out of time. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He keep us all safe from the COVID pandemic, both here and all over the world. And I also pray that those people who are well off and who are enjoying the blessings of God find in their heart the compassion, and the empathy for others, so that they can reach into their pockets uh, and help others. Thank you very much.